ladies and gents. It's another day, another episode of the podcast. As you can probably tell, I'm a little bit sluggish today because I just had a holiday lunch. But I wanted to give you guys part two of this little podcast for Comic Con coverage. Technically, this will be a part three of this coverage. Originally, part two was going to be about Marvel's films and such, but they haven't really talked much about Marvel recently in this weekend. But they've talked more about DC and outside of Marvel and DC's coverage with certain films and such like that. I think the only controversy, the only situation Marvel related is something I'll probably talk about later today. Probably a little footnote on it. I don't want to go too much on a tangent about it. But first off, again, for those out there, thank you for everybody out there who's been sending me a lot of congrats about the fact of me bringing this podcast back, because I have been wanting to bring this back for quite some time. And like I said, it's been so many delays in the fact of bringing this back. Technical issues, personal issues, location issues, a lot of things is what prevented me from bringing this podcast back. And I'm so happy now that it's back that, I can go do what I do, even if it means I have to do it on my lonesome. I just want to make sure I get it out there to let people know what's going on. So, today's episode is what I call the filler episode, because this is technically going to be filling between two of both the case of it. Now, there were some trailers that DC actually launched out today. Warner Brothers released 3 trailers today at Comic-Con, which I did not expect because I was expecting a few Marvel ones, but I haven't seen any so far from Marvel, which means they're either keeping things very light or they're not having much really in the film projects as of yet after Adam and the Wasp, because of Infinity War Part 2, or whatever it's going to be called, because it's not going to be called Infinity War Part 2, it's probably going to be called something else, whatever the Avenger movie is. The only announcement that was made in the Marvel half so far is, like I said, there's a new TV series coming out, an animated series coming out, which will feature Chloe Bennett returning as Quake. The new season of Marvel Agents of S.H.I.E.L.D. is confirmed that will have a few episodes directed by none other than Agent Coulson himself, Clark Gregg. And of course, Chloe's been getting a lot of heat because it's been confirmed that she is indeed having a relationship with the controversy Logan Paul of YouTube, who, if I'm correct, either this month or next month will be fighting KSI in London. Now, for your people out there who just want to know, I don't give a shit about neither of these two guys. I find them both ridiculous. I find KSI to be a brash, over loudmouth, obnoxious of a person. But you know what? If he can train his ass off to fight other white dudes in the case of it, then that's fine. But I like to see him take on people like Mayweather or Ron Jones of it. I like to see him take on real boxers, not dudes, not white guys who have a little bit of athleticism and no experience whatsoever. So I don't see it as much as except the fact that it's basically a cash cow for people to see Logan Paul get his ass beat for the sake of fans who find him ridiculously pungent because of the actions that he has caused recently in YouTube. Now, I don't want to go over what he's done recently in YouTube. You can Google it, you can YouTube it, you can find it all out on the internet. The internet is your friend, so I don't have to explain to you what Logan Paul has done to have many people hate him. But the fact that, people are going after his girlfriend, Chloe, on that, and Chloe's been open about it, despite the whole situation about it, I just find it, Chloe, do what you do, whatever you want. If you find him to be a good relationship, that's you. I would have picked somebody better, if anything. That's just my personal opinion on it. But then again, my opinion doesn't count. This is a Hollywood actress, and I'm just a guy who's in the internet, talking on a microphone, speaking just my mind on things, who's a photographer on the side. So my opinion doesn't really mean much, except right here on this podcast, because you're listening to it. So I'm not going to waste my breath and time on that situation. I will talk about the 2 trailers that did drop today that I just realized. Okay, 3 trailers that dropped. The first one is Godzilla King of the Monsters. First off, I completely had forgotten about the fact that movie was coming out. The trailer was really great. We got to see Mothra in her full form of it. I'm overly excited to know how this MonsterVerse is going to go, because after Kong Skull Island, I'm just waiting for that to come out more in the sense of it, because to see Kong versus Godzilla, I'm already hyping on the case of it. I just don't want it to be a Batman v Superman letdown. That's all I'm hoping that it doesn't come out to be, because I'm already looking forward to that already, aside from the fact of what Godzilla's going to face in this movie. So I did not know, however, Millie Bobby Brown was going to be in this movie. I guess that's going to be pretty much the bait and switch for this movie, is her performance and her appearance in this movie. Because if you overlook at the trailer, especially when they put out the preview before the trailer, it's a scene from her when she's in a shelter talking through a frequency radio, and that's what I said right there. I already knew it. Like, that's the bait and switch. Everyone has been on the Stranger Things hype train, including myself. So we all love her performance. We love her style in case of it. So of course we are definitely going to get hooked in the moment we know that she's going to make her film debut in this movie. But here's the weird part for you guys. I'm going to go hipster here. I was a fan of hers even before Stranger Things. There was a show on BBC called Invaders, and it came out right around the time, I believe, Matt Smith was still the Doctor. And the show was about a group of people who were in a cult who also had possession of other personalities. And Millie, her character, was one of those characters. And the thing is how much people loved her character Seven in Stranger Things, you would hate her character on this show. One of her famous quotes is "What goes around comes around." You hear her say that like so many times, and it's so many times. It's like when I watch her, and she's like Georgie from It with the raincoat and shit all the time. Every time I saw her on every episode, I'm just like, I just want to choke the shit out of that little girl, and that's what she was on this show. So if you ever get a chance to see Invaders on BBC, definitely check it out. You will probably feel like, you know what? I never thought Seven was a bitch, and you would see that in this show, because it's crazy. So to see how she went from there, no one know who she was, to going to Netflix and Stranger Things, to now being in her big blockbuster debut in Godzilla King of Monsters. It's going to be very interesting. I'm not hating on the movie. I'm not hating whatsoever on the fact that they're using her to market the movie. None whatsoever. My problem is the fact of I don't want people to go to this movie thinking that it's just about her. That's all we got to make sure of the case of it. But yeah, the effects were great. The visuals was amazing. I'm like I said, I'm already on board with this one, and just like compared to the first Godzilla, and I'm so glad they brought some of the people from the first movie back to this one too. So it's exciting to know about that. The second trailer I watched was actually Aquaman, and I'm hoping this will clean the palette of the dirty taste in our mouths that we have had from the two films we have recently seen in this DC film universe. Justice League was just a letdown. Batman v Superman could have been so much more potential. Let's just hope this movie does its better worth of it. I found the trailer interesting. The only disappointment was we didn't see no Willem Dafoe. Willem was highly noticed to be in this movie, and while we only seen promo photos of him in the online, there was no scenes of him in the movie, and I was looking forward to that. But I don't know if maybe it has something to do with the fact of his character. But Amber Heard looks amazing as Mara. I'm not even gonna lie. I'm just like, she looks so. I could not picture her as a redhead until this movie. She looks so amazing as a redhead. I would love to see if they pull it off with this movie and this universe, and they go to the point where if they do the Blackest Day or Blackest Night or Brightest Day story arc, which would be a perfect story arc, DC. That would be a perfect story arc to do for this movie series. If you finally got to clean this shit up. I would love to see Mara take on with that red ring, because in the comic books, for those who don't know, spoiler alert, Mara ends up being possessive of the Red Lantern ring, which is the Ring of Rage, which is my favorite Lantern Corps. And let's just say Mara is sexy and angry and badass, and like so much red on her, to the point you can't. I'm looking at her and I'm just like, you know what? If you wipe the blood off of her face from that she's drooling on, she's not that bad looking in red. That's just my personal opinion. However, I am loving so many Mara cosplays that have been going on since Justice League came out. I've seen a few of them. Um, I believe Reagan Catherine, I believe Anna Braddock, Meg Turney did an amazing cosplay of Mara, I believe, as well. Uh, Mara's got curves for a mer woman to be Aquaman's lady. She's got curves, and these cosplayers. This is why I love this community. So I'm just putting that on the side right now, if anything. But yeah, the movie, the action, the effects, so much of the like so many fish, the potential of it. Nicole Kidman as his mother. That I did not see. That blew my mind right there. I did not see that coming at all. I'm like, wait a minute. She's his mother. I would have never guessed that. I don't know where I was at or if I missed out on any of the updates or information about that, but holy crap, that did not come. I did not see that coming. But it works. It really works. Um. Uh. So yeah, I'm looking forward to the movie. I'm looking forward to it. I mean, I just hope this one will help Jason Momoa in his performance work compared to what he did with the Conan Barbarian remake. And hopefully this movie will give more of a positive light to fans who have ridiculed Aquaman for years. Because let's face it, Aquaman over the years has been the butt of comic fans' jokes. The man who can only talk to fish. His power is his only communication with fish. He doesn't show any other abilities, which honestly, that's not true. He has every advanced enhanced abilities other than breathing underwater and communication with aqua wildlife. Aside from that, he has very heightened abilities, communication, sonar abilities, super speed, super enhanced strength. So he's not just a guy who can talk to animals. He has pretty much equivalent to every ability that Superman has, from what I remember. So in a way, it's just he's the Superman of the water. That's pretty much what he is. So for us to make him the butt of jokes because of the fact he can only talk to fish was his only power, you'd be surprised what he really can do in the comic books. A lot. I will say I didn't like the whole trident hand thing with him in one of the 52 story arcs. That was just ridiculous. I'm more of the classic version of Aquaman, clean cut with the suit and such of it. So that's just my personal opinion of that one. But still, I'm looking forward to the movie. I really am. And the last trailer I saw recently was Shazam, and I am so proud and happy for Zachary Levi. Let me tell you something. I am a Chuckster, like most of you probably are. And for those who don't know that term, it's basically a term for a fan who has been around since Zachary Levi's success in the NBC hit action comedy Chuck. If you have not seen Chuck, you really need to see Chuck. It's one of those shows that's basically, it's the classic rooting for the underdog. And it's one of my favorite, it's one of the rare NBC shows, I will say, that's really good. And it gives me so much hope on the fact of like, you know what? They could make several different versions of this, and I wouldn't be mad. Zachary, I was introduced through that show, like many others. Uh, Unfortunately, I was late to the party. I won't lie. While I didn't get to watch it when it aired, the power of digital streaming services made that possible for me to watch it. At one point, Netflix was airing it, but then Amazon bought the rights to the show, and now they have it on their Prime network. So I was able to watch all the episodes in time of it. And I fell in love with the show. I grew into the show like everyone else, became a fan of it. Hell, Chuck's attire is something I would wear on a daily basis. Black slacks, white button up, and a pair of Chuck Taylors. That's pretty much my uniform, ladies and gentlemen. If you know me better during my younger years. At one point, honestly, I used to cosplay as Lewis from Left 4 Dead, and I would wear the same attire with the exception of wearing a red tie. And people would assume I'm dressing as Chuck. I was dressed as Chuck or Simon Pegg's character from Shaun of the Dead. That's what people thought I was doing because they all wear the same clothing, same attire. So it's funny people used to think that. But that show, I fell in love with that show like everyone else. You know, the intersect, the Avengers, his relationship with Sarah. Hell, even Adam Baldwin's portray his character. Despite I don't like Adam Baldwin himself, but his characters on that show as well was just hilarious. Um, his Chuck's relationship with his sister and Captain also. You know, the whole thing working at Buy More, you know, even the other co-workers at Barmore. I love that. Hell, there was an episode with my dream date, Olivia Munn, was on an episode. That that was the icing in the cake for me. Even though she appeared on one episode, it was just to see her in there in a Buy More uniform. Sexy, so sexy. And then they replaced her with Stacy Kleber, who's the next second sexiest thing in the world right now. I mean, well, not right now, but the sexiest thing after her. Although she's married now and wants nothing to do with wrestling, really. But Olivia Munn, I'm pretty sure, is still single and still ready to mingle. Most of her friends are black women, too, which gives me a sign of hope, ladies and gentlemen. If you have not seen her Instagram, she's been beach surfing with Gabrielle Union and several other black women friends. And then at one point, I remember watching a video where she's having a party with Jamie Foxx, his daughter, and their black friends. And it always crossed my mind, like, you know, she's got a lot of black friends. That actually has to be a sign. I'm just putting a conspiracy right there, okay? That's just my thing. I'm hoping she's down with this world, because I am not going to give up on that. I don't give a damn what anybody says about hating her. That is my woman. The only program or projects that I did not give a damn for her really in was the Newsroom. Even though I loved her speaking Japanese, I won't lie. There were moments when she spoke that Japanese. She can speak Japanese in real life, and I loved when she did that. And then I forgot the name of that fucking shit movie. A romantic comedy movie she did with Johnny Depp that was really hated on. I forgot what it is. You probably know what I'm talking about. But I hated her in that movie too. That was just ridiculous. I did love her in Ride Along 2 with Ice Cube. I did love that because I'm like, her being such a bitch to Kevin Hart is just, even The Rock would probably be happy of that. But aside from that whole thing, I like everyone else watched every episode, knows every quote line, know every hint, every joke in the sense of it. But what I also loved was the fact that Zach was a real nerd like all of us, and like most Hollywood nerds like Kevin Smith and Seth Green and Seth Rogen. You know, Hollywood didn't change their nerdom. You know, he started a company called the Nerd Machine, which was similar to like Nerdist. He had a convention event that happened right after San Diego Comic-Con called Nerd HQ, which unfortunately has not been functional since then. He's been actually in the process of reconstructing it now into a program for charities. You know, a lot of people have been fans of his stuff of it. You know, and he's shown a lot of support for a lot of his friends in the world of conventions and such. I wished I went to Nerd HQ when it was still functionable. It's the one regret I have. But then again, I've never gotten to go to San Diego Comic-Con either. So, but to see him go from that and the success of it, I'm so happy. I mean, it's weird seeing him bulk up because people know from him and Chuck, he doesn't look like he has one muscle strain in his body. He's such a twig. But to see him bulk up for this character in Shazam is so hilariously amazing. It's like he's got no neck. But I'm not going to hate on him because I'm happy for him. But I love the trailer. It's exactly what I was expecting it to be. Now, I don't care about this whole mess with the Captain Marvel name. I could give 5 shits about that. I really do. Because that's up to the companies to go through that farce. But I will say, I am looking forward to this movie. My only disappointment when it comes to this movie is we're not going to see the Black Adam in this movie. Now, originally, when this movie was originally going to be pitched, before Zachary came to direct, Dwayne "The Rock" Johnson was attached to the project, and he was going to be playing Black Adam, which was to be the rival of Shazam, which everyone in the comic books knows. Captain Marvel, Shazam's rival, has always been Black Adam. So when Zach came on to this movie, the first thing we're thinking is, oh, Zachary is going to be fighting The Rock. And we find out also, right when he gets on, Dwayne already removed himself from the project. However, I have heard speculation that Dwayne is still attached to a Black Adam project at DC that will coincide outside of this Shazam film, but it will be more of a anti-hero origins film. Now, if that happens, I can only hope that down the line they will come to a point that Dwayne and Zachary will be working together. I can only hope that. But then again, we don't know. I mean, for all we know, that could happen for Shazam 2 if Shazam 1 does well. But Shazam's already looking very good. I love the story arc. I love the character. I love the actress who plays Billy Batson. It's really great to see this become a reality, the sense of it. So I'm looking forward to this movie. Having said that, with the trailers, there were some downfalls of some situations, and one of them I will bring up. I was going to wait to bring this up within the Marvel section of this podcast for the next episode, but I wanted to address it here because I wanted to just regard my minds on. I just want to ramble for like a few minutes on the situation, and that is for those who probably heard the news, James Gunn, who directed the first two Guardians of the Galaxy movies for Marvel, has been now removed from Guardians of the Galaxy Volume 3. He has been terminated from his contract at Marvel Studios, which means he will not be involved in Guardians 3, nor will he be involved in the film as director or producer as well. And it comes from the fact that a few of his older tweets from 5-6 years ago, where he has made very controversial, humorous jokes on things such as sexual transmitted diseases to racism and Trump, anti-Trump jokes, basically have him outed and fired from the company. Now, the first thing people are saying is, well, he's getting the same thing Roseanne's deserved because this is Disney ABC. Here's the thing. Roseanne has been doing this even before her show got picked up. People knew this when they go to her Twitter. Roseanne never stopped being this way even before her show got picked up. She was still this way. The picture of her as a Nazi baking German Jewish cookies. She was doing this before that. She was still saying this. No matter how much controversy there was, she was still doing this. When she put out a book, she was still controversial like this. James has changed his ways even before he got picked up to do the first movie. And that's what people don't understand. And James has come out recently on Twitter, even addressing the situation about the fact that this is not who he is. It's no longer what he was. And I feel disappointed about that. And I'm actually going to read the thread, if I can pull it up right now. This is on his, because he's made very much public things about this. I'm going to read the thread that he made before he decided to abandon Twitter for a minute. Because if I'm right, he has stated it's been stated that he's exiting Twitter for a while. But this is what he's putting up right now in the sense of it. Many people who have followed my career know when I started, I viewed myself as a provocateur, making movies and telling jokes that were outrageous and taboo. As I have discussed publicly many times, I have developed as a person. So has my work and my humor. It's not to say I'm better, but I'm very, very different than I was a few years ago. Today I try to root my work in love and connection and less in anger. My days saying something just because it's shocking and trying to get a reaction are over. In the past, I have apologized for humor of mine that hurt people. I truly felt sorry and meant every word of my apologies. For the record, when I made these shocking jokes, I wasn't living them out. I know this is a weird statement to make and seems obvious, but still, here I am saying it. Anyway, that's the completely honest truth. I used to make a lot of offensive jokes. I don't anymore. I don't blame my past self for this, but I like myself more and feel more like a more human being and creator today. Love you to you all. And these are the last words he stated before he posted, I believe, a sneak preview for the trailer of, I'm guessing, a movie for a comic book that he's working on called Endless. A lot of first people, when you see the picture, at first people thought it was the symbol from an anime called Berserk, which has been speculated. There has been speculation that Berserk, which is a very good anime, which if you have not seen it, you should definitely see it. there was rumor that Berserk was going to have a live action film. But this is actually from a movie, from a comic book called Endless, which is a horror sci-fi film that I'm guessing he's going to be working on. Endless or Nameless? Nameless, I believe it's called, actually. So when it comes to, I know this is the last project that he's directing, he's working on as of right now. This is not the same thing as Rosie O'Donnell. I mean, not Rosie O'Donnell, but Roseanne. It's not. He has not made excuses. He has not stated that it was some medicated disease. He has not stated that it was because of some personal situation. He stated, and I quote, his anger. And he doesn't, and he's like, I'm not saying I never said any of those things. I said those things, and I regretted saying those things, and I'm sorry for saying those things. And I have once stated, I'm not that same person anymore. He's taking the guilt of it. He is taking the acceptance of it. He is accepting his punishment on that. This is not what Roseanne has done. Roseanne, honestly, and here's the worst part. Recently, by the time you get this, Roseanne has recently opened up a YouTube account and a channel, and she has literally posted a video trying to regurgitate the same damn shit that she just stated about her racial tweet. For example, she once stated that she thought the judge who she insulted was white. That woman was not white. We all know this. Then she stated the fact it was her medication. The medical company, or pharmaceutical company that makes her prescriptions, has stated there's nothing racial about that. And then she's like stated like it was something that she said a long time ago from mental illness, some mental illness of it. So you can see the complete difference of it. We have one person who has been successful in films and has made one of the most lovable film franchises right now in Hollywood, who has realized he's been outed because he has said hateful things, humorous things that were hateful and rude, but yet he is willing to accept the responsibility that he has said those things and has made it fully aware what he said was wrong, and he regrets what he has stated, as well as the fact as he has many times apologized for those things. Where we have a woman who considers herself a comedian in her 40, 50 years in her career in television, who had a very successful sitcom, stated that a racial slur she had made about someone of a political party that she did not believe in, and stated it was not her fault, but it was because of medication or mental illnesses or other reasons, other excuses. It is the dumbest thing I have ever heard. It's as simple as black and white, ladies and gentlemen. Now, I understand why Disney and Marvel had to take action by firing James Gunn. It only hurts me because we won't get to see the future path of what the world of Guardians of the Galaxy could have been. From what I remember, James had stated that he wanted to do a film based on The Outsiders, which included other characters that he had involved around the universe of the Guardians of the Galaxy. He wanted to do a movie about the Nova Corps, which was in the first movie. Hell, if things were correct, I believe he wanted to even have a chance to executive produce the Nova film, which would have been amazing. I do believe also the last imprint he had involved himself in was he wanted to make sure that Adam Warlock, which is a character in the Marvel's universe, was going to be introduced in the world of Marvel before Infinity War. And that alone tells you right there how much of a fan he is. Like many people, I didn't get introduced to him until his movie Slither, which I'm not a horror movie fan. I'm just letting you know that. But it wasn't until I knew he was involved with a video game called Lollipop Chainsaw with Suda51 is what introduced me. Because not only did that introduce me to him and Suda51, who's an amazing artist, but of course, that introduced me and of course started my love for one of my favorite cosplayers, Jessica Negri. Because for those who don't remember, they did a contest for the promotion of that game, and Jessica, who was a no one in the time of her cosplay career, won the competition for the Juliet Starling costume contest. And because of that, her career has launched since then in her career. So, a lot of things happen with that. James Gunn, Her, Suda51, Tara Strong. A lot of those things happened within that moment in my life. It introduced me to many of those people in my life, for the case of it. So to know that this man who has done many things in the past and has agreed and stated he understands why it had to happen, but just disappointed, it just hurts me. It really does. And I only hope that down the line, whether it's the fans like myself make an uproar about it, or something in Disney and Marvel's head decides to give him the satisfactory benefit of the doubt, we can only hope that something changes in the case of it with that, because there's so much potential that could have went within that that's now been ruined because of something of the past of it. And it's mostly people who hate James. Mostly people, especially in politics, who hated he made those insulting jokes and wanted to rat him out to the point that they wanted him to lose his job. They're victorious on that right now. They really are. So yeah, that's the only downside shading of things in the case of it. If anything, also I want to talk about another side story real quick. Many of you probably have known about Butch Hartman, the guy who created The Fairly Odd Parents, Tough Puppy, Danny Phantom. Recently, he has put out a Kickstarter to launch his very own streaming entertainment programming company, which would also include quality original programming, called Oasis Entertainment. And recently, the crowdfunding that he did for that has reached its goal. Which congrats to him on that, I guess. If anything, a lot of people I've been recently realizing a lot of people have been posting. They've been a lot of videos have been coming out from people stating that this was a bad idea. The fact that Access Entertainment. But most of the people who, there's been a few people who have made controversial speculations on what he's planning to do with this entertainment thing. What the source, from what I read in the source, the programming is basically he wants to create basically a Netflix that would completely feel programming and original content from himself. Which is a lot for most people. This is no different than if Seth MacFarlane decided he wanted to create his own channel. It happens, There are always those people who've worked in the industry for years who feel that they want to launch their own entertainment programming and create their own stuff. It's normal. If anything, I don't wish anything bad on him in the sense of it. And I was a fan of some of his stuff. I was a fan of him when he was still working on Johnny Bravo with Seth MacFarlane, crazy enough. And I won't lie, a few episodes of Tough Puppy, Fairly Odd Parents, and Danny Phantom, also Jim Nigeli's in some cases. However, he also had worked on 2 other projects. He had an animated show that got canceled called Benson is a Beast, which was about this little monster named Benson, which really wasn't entertaining to me. And then he had a mobile app program called the Noog Network, which is about these little creatures called Noogs. They look like little blobs of things, like something that lived in your nose. But recently, from his podcast, which is Speech Bubble, and from his YouTube channel, a lot of people have been noticing he's been doing a lot of Bible quoting, which is very unusual for a animator executive producer. He's made a lot of Bible quotes, which in this term, some people believe that he wants to start this entertainment streaming service to create religious-based programming. In fact, one guy put a joke here, a tweet by the name of Pam Pizza, or at Rebel Taxi, basically stated that OX has got funded. Realistic, I'm expecting programming with a Dove Foundation sticker on it, which, as you can see, there's a picture of Bible Man Genesis, which was a legit television show. It was a legit television show. It was about a man who basically was a superhero, quoting from the Bible, called Bible Man. He was in a prosthetic suit, in a superhero suit, and he quoted from the Bible. This was a legit show, ladies and gentlemen. I kid you not. And they think it's programming like this is what's going to be in his Access Entertainment. That might be in some cases. I don't think. I don't think that a guy of his taste of it, who wants to do something in that sense of it, who's worked on animations for years, that's very vulgar at sometimes. Because let's admit it, Johnny Bravo was not one of the safest cartoons for kids to watch. I remember when I was younger, my mother made us stop watching cartoons because in one episode, Johnny's mother, one of the characters on the show, called a woman that Johnny was going out with a quote-unquote hussy. I shit you not this, ladies and gentlemen. My mother made us not watch cartoons for a month because that cartoon mother called a woman a hussy. Which, in some cases, my mother believes that's a swear word in the household. Just tells you how much of a living that I had to deal with. So, to hear that in a cartoon, looking back now, I'm just like, it wasn't a bad word, but it's right up there with bitch. But to know that somebody said that in a cartoon for children, it's kind of weird and creepy. And looking at it now, like I said, for someone to do that, but on the same half years later with children, saying they want to do Christian or Catholic related cartooning or programming, that's what I can't see. Honestly. And honestly, I don't think that's what it is. Whether people want to believe that's what they think of it in some cases. These conspiracy theories from these YouTubers who have no success, have a lot of reach or funding from a lot of fans, are making these ridiculous claims on the fact that it's mostly these religious-based things that Butch is going to do with this channel. I fail to believe that. I understand some people who don't like Butch Hartman just in general because they don't find his cartoons any worth entertaining or stuff. That's completely fine. That's me. Like I said, perfect example for me. I don't like SpongeBob now. I am a fan of classic SpongeBob. First 3 seasons SpongeBob were the best SpongeBobs available. When Steven Hildenbrand, the creator of SpongeBob, was still the showrunner of his cartoon, his creation, that's where the best golden moments of SpongeBob were at. Since he stepped down as the showrunner for the last few years, the show has gotten watered down to the point it's ridiculous. It's the one thing I've noticed more and more from Nickelodeon, in any cases, is when the showrunner steps down from the cartoon and the network takes over the ownership of that said cartoon, and they try to put in writing in the sense of it, it gets to the point it's ridiculous. So I can understand if fans are like that when it came to Butch Hartman. But Butch never left the show, never stepped down as showrunner. So the show kept renewing itself over year and year while he worked on other shows. While he was still doing Fairly Odd Parents, he was working on Danny. When he was still working on Danny and Phantom, he was still working Danny and Phantom and Fairly Odd Parents. He was doing Tough Puppy. I gotta give him credit for being that multitasking of a person in the sense of it. But for people to think because he quotes from the Bible on his streams and on his television and such of it, that's kind of ridiculous. Then there's this one accusation that apparently when he was doing a live stream of playing one of his Fairly Odd Parents video games, someone criticized about his artwork, and they said that he was rude about it. That's like you telling Walt Disney Mickey Mouse is not the best thing ever. Are you fucking kidding me, kid? Do you have any experience in animation? Have you sent your portfolio out to an animator? Have you been rejected by animation before? Have your work ever been seen by any animators famous before? Have you even had a pilot ever developed? Have you worked with any other animators in any animation studios whatsoever? If the answers are no for all those questions, and yet you're criticizing about Butch Hartman's animation for his shows, he has every right to say what the fuck he wants. That, ladies and gentlemen, is stupid on the child's half. I don't feel if he has to be rude about it, okay. I'm sorry. I don't see the problem with it. But for people to hate on his network and his streaming service of program because of that reason alone is ridiculous itself. So that's really stupid all over in the sense of it. So the fact that people hate his work, the people hate how he criticizes, he tends to take criticism, the fact that religious-based background, all these things people have stated on the fact of his Kickstarter. is ridiculous. Uh, See, here's actually, I'm looking at somebody right now who actually tweeted the same thing. Eduardo mentioned Zen Zetsubu. So I wake up to find out Butch Hartman's whole elaborate scheme with Access Entertainment was to spread Christianity to your child. That alone isn't inherently bad. But why is this important? There was zero mention of Christianity in the initial Kickstarter. And he purposely avoided very saucy questions regarding social issues and the like. Again, there's nothing wrong with making a Christian service, but not telling us the truth about your service makes you look malicious in hell. He also says pretty incriminating things when it comes to suicide and traditional family values. It's pretty stuff. So, yeah. He may avoid the Christian service stuff. That may not be true. Now, the suicide thing, this is the one thing I may need to do more research in. Apparently, he used suicidal prevention as a way of a marketing tool for his developing the fact of this Kickstarter. Now, this I don't know is true. I've heard speculation from several other people on this. And some people haven't been able to put photo proof of this because the fact that they'll feel that Butch will have a cease and desist order on their channel or on their pages and such. I find it hard to believe. I wouldn't think he would go that far. Not in the same cases of putting religion in the sense of it. Religion could be. I don't think he did, but could be. Suicide, I find that hard to believe. Like I said, most likely, and my personal feeling is most of this stuff like I said, in some cases, apparently, like I said, apparently he never said it was a Christian services. That people said it was a Christian streaming service. He'd been manipulative to people. Apparently, he's transphobic. Apparently, from what people said, and said the suicide for depression was not a thing when he was younger. This is the Prince EA shit I'm gonna say right now. If he has said that, this is the same spoon-fed shit that Prince EA has. And anybody out there who listens to Prince EA, you are a goddamn idiot for that. This man who makes up saying, who writes a poem and video saying that he is not black and you are not white, but at the same time can put up a freestyle and calls a dude a faggot, being homophobic yourself on that shit, who also says depression is not real, stop, is the biggest hypocritical motherfucker I've ever heard. I can go on a tangent about how much I can't stand that motherfucker. I can't. I'm gonna be honest as real on that shit when it comes to him. But I'm not gonna do that because I don't feel the necessary promote on that sense of it. And I'm glad that people like Leafy and Boy in the Band exposed his ass for the piece of fake shit he is of a motivational speaker. I could be a better one than him. All I gotta do is spit some poetry and reevaluate some words around, and I could be just as good as his ass. That's all it is. So, if anything, I don't even want to talk about that motherfucker. But when it comes to these accusations that Butch has, I'm only hoping that's not true. Because first of all, I'm looking forward to his entertainment funding. I really am. Like I said, Christianity is not a bad thing in religious sense of it. I understand some people don't want to feel with it because either they want to think that atheism is cool or not, or they find it not cool to be talking about religion, which is stupid on either ends of it. I don't bring up religion on my sense of it, not because I don't like it. It's just because of the fact it's not that important for me to talk to you people about. I don't need to feed that to you. It's like I tell people before, my thing is I don't like it when people shove things in my mouth about certain things that they believed in. When you do that, that's when it turns you off. But if you're not going to do that and it just comes out to the point that you're hearing it, oh well, so what? It was all my life I had to deal with that, in some cases religion, so I don't really want to go talking in that case of it, so we're not going to bring up a case of it. But I only hope that Butch's programming service turns out to be actually completely off the rail from what everyone has been making accusations on. I don't want it to be what it is. So I don't want it, I don't want it to be what people are saying it is. I really don't. Because I don't want to believe that. Uh, yeah, because I'm seeing all this stuff with people saying even the fact that it might be related to Bret Bart Entertainment, which I hope it ain't. You don't want to know what Bret Bart is, believe me. um, so, of course, back on the Comic Con sense of things, I know a lot of people have been talking about other trailers. There were other trailers I did watch, some that were not much important to some people. For example, um, Walking Dead's new season is coming out, of course. There's also the fact that there will be uh, another season of what's it called? Black Lightning, which I'm very excited about. Um, hoping that there's there's another season of uh, Cloak and Dagger, which is also great to know about too. So, there's a lot of other trailers that came out and shows. In the case of The Gifted, Arrow. So there's a lot of, like I said, Fantastic Beast. Oh, and then there's Glass. Glass is another trailer I also saw too. I, I'm actually I'm looking forward to seeing it, but I'm not much as everyone else with the hype. Only because it's been years since I've seen Unbreakable, and uh, Split was just really just in some uncomfort for me, but it wasn't as bad. So I'm looking forward to see how he wraps it up with this story. But if anything, I'm not on the big hype train with that movie. If anything, um, now aside from all that, in the sense of it, not much in trailers have have really came in a sense of from what I was trying, from what I've looked online, and from what I've looked into. But I'm looking forward tomorrow. Hopefully, there'll be more information about more trailers from Marvel's end of it. Like I said, whether it's Agents of Shield, I know The Gifted just put out a trailer for their next season. I know they'll probably have information about more DC. It seems like more on the television scale of things, DC has it very much overbilled, and I can't lie on that because I'm a sucker for DC's television spectrum. But when it comes to the film's cultural things of it, I'm hoping Marvel will give us something. I'm hoping something from Captain Marvel. I really am. That's the one I'm really hoping for. We have not gotten anything yet from Captain Marvel. Um, at least something. Marvel, don't make us lose out on you other than just TV shows. The only thing right now that I'm just trying to keep my spectacle and my excitement for is when I finish my pre-order for the Spider-Man PS4 game. That's literally the only thing right now that I'm looking forward in the bottom end of it. This Marvel cartoon, I'm very iffy on Marvel cartoons. I'm more of a natural person when it comes to the nostalgia of classic Marvel cartoons. You show me X-Men, the original Spider-Man, those cartoons, the Fantastic Four, Iron Man cartoons. I'll watch those all day. Unlimited Spider-Man, Spider-Man Ultimate, those are fine too. I wasn't really much into most of the Avenger cartoons. I won't lie, the Fox Avengers cartoon didn't got my attention, but Disney did do well with Avengers Assemble and somewhat with the Avengers series, but it didn't still grab me as much as all the other shows did. So this Marvel cartoon that's coming out now, I just much of it. But I am happy that season 2 of what's it called of Cloak and Dagger is a thing, and then of course Iron Fist will be officially. They just announced Iron Fist season 2 will officially be coming out. I believe this September. They did show the trailer on Netflix and on YouTube. I believe, yeah, September 7th, season 2, which I'm already happy for. Because that ending for season 2 was just, season 1 was just wow. And I'm almost done with, I'm taking my time with season 2 of Luke Cage. Because, again, even though The Defenders was a one-time thing of a series, there's always an opportunity for what's it called to have something involved within that universe, because you have to remember these shows all are in the Defenders initiative of the Marvel Cinematic Universe. While the events are going on with Marvel's Cinematic Universe, those still affect the universe of these characters on the show, so anything can happen. So I'm looking forward on that sense of it. But that's pretty much what's going to be for today's episode. I think that will pretty much wrap of it, because what I want to do is I'm thinking about doing a commentary episode for one of my favorite movies, and I want to know what you guys think. I'm probably going to post it online, the shows, which one is it, if you guys want me to do that, because what will happen is since I can't play the movie for y'all to watch it, I want to do commentary. I've always wanted to do commentary on one of my favorite movies and such of it, so that way you guys know how I feel about certain things of it. If you guys want me to do that, let me know. If not, it'll just be a passing one-time thing. Also, again, I just uploaded part 1 is up already now, as well as the other bonus episode is also available up as well. Part 3 will be coming out soon once everything comes out in the sense of it, because like I said, by the time these episodes are out, the weekend episodes for Comic-Con will be out as well. So by Sunday, I will be up to speed with everything. Also, just letting you guys know, by the time you get this episode up, August 10th through August 17th, I will be in Cleveland officially for the whole week. I'll be doing photos. I'll be doing a couple shoots with a few other beautiful women. So if you have not shot with me, if you want to shoot with me, make sure you hit me up on all my social media, which is all Yoku Masaki, or go to drymedia.com, my website, for all my photography needs. Shout out to my sponsors, Catalyst Mints and Gamer Goo, and of course shout out to my Twitch Kittens fam for getting me down, hold me down. This is going to be it for me for today's episode. I will catch you guys on part 3 of San Diego Comic-Con coverage. And with that being said, this is your favorite cat-eared extraordinaire saying peace and love. Later.